See, basically, what we are getting is presently we are handling, as you have seen from the list, we are handling iron ore of North Karnataka, we are handling iron ore from here, we are handling granite from North Karnataka, we are handling limestone, bauxite, we are handling wood chips. So there are other kind of new cargo which we can probably look into. Probably Himanshu may be able to add. But basically what we are going to rely on is the containerized cargo. If we are starting the handling of containers, then we are likely to get more containerized cargo from the entire hinterland. We are there for the state of Goa because we are based in Goa. What we have not explored is the hinterland of North Karnataka, southern Maharashtra, where a lot of cargo presently moves through containers, taking the route to Mumbai, and from the Mumbai, the Nauseva port or the containers are moving that way. Even here in Goa, the pharma sector, they are also utilizing the Jawaharlal Nehru port at Nauseva for their export and import. So basically then we will like to tap these kind of areas to get...
How soon it can be affected?
See, as I said, we will get our main problem was the lack of mobile cranes, harbour mobile cranes. So we are getting 2 harbour mobile cranes through the PPP operator sometime by the end of March. So we will be able to start, technically we will be able to start by April, May. But then the challenge is once the port stops handling containers and the entire ecosystem disappears, then it takes some time for the entire ecosystem to come back and the trade to gain that confidence that we can still handle kind of it. The first is to put their infrastructure in place, the harbour mobile cranes in place. It's always that you make the port infrastructure ready for the kind of trade. So we are hopeful that maybe in the next 6 months to 1 year, and it can go back to its pre-2017 days, handling containers.
So I just wanted to know, when you said that it can go back in 2017, how much of container traffic did LPG do?
Sir, we did about 34,000.
Yeah, I think that is why we decided to invite all of you to see in reality about the coal pollution. See, if you ask me about the coal pollution, I'll have 1 minute. Please allow me to talk for 1 minute because basically before coming to the port, basically I'm a geologist. So if you ask me about the coal, then I'll talk about coal more. So today, if you see in the country, in India, I think India is the 5th largest reserve for coal. 5th largest reserve in the world for coal. Then the question comes, should we use this large reserve for our development or not? So the question is whether we should use this large reserve available in the country for our development or not. Today I think you are aware, you are all from the media, you are aware that the government has also taken a stand. If all the developing countries have taken a stand, including South Africa, that if we have a large coal reserve, we should use it for power generation. So today, as of now, in India, I think 73% of the power generation is from coal. So this 73%, so today if we, in 24 hours, the power supply in our house, 73%, that is 18% of the power supply in a day is coming out of coal. So this is one thing we need to understand. Even South Africa it is 83%. Even the most developed country, US, it is 19%. Japan, it is around 30%. So when we speak about reducing the fossil fuel, etc., yes, we have to reduce. But the first question is whether a country should use its reserve for its development. When we have an Amrit Kal vision of 2047, the country has also taken a stand. Yes, we need to use our coal for the power generation. Then the question comes, and why are we importing coal? We are importing coal because our country's reserve is mostly non-coking coal, which is low-grade, thermal coal. Our requirement is for steel, etc. Our requirement is coking coal and high-grade thermal coal. Where is this coking coal going? The coking coal is being used for steel manufacturing. The steel gets exported, steel gets consumed in the domestic market. Then why are we importing high-grade thermal coal? Because we have only low-grade thermal coal in the country. We need to mix the high-grade thermal coal and the low-grade thermal coal for power generation. So if you ask me how many power plants are in the country which is based on coal, I think over 200. There are over 200 power plants in the country depending on coal, producing 73% of the power which we require. So when you ask, do we need coal or not? So that is the thing. It is not that port wants to import coal. It is the country needs coal today because 73% of the power generation is from coal.
Okay, so does the...
But then let me complete. Should we reduce it? Yes, we should try to reduce it. Second, as you said, that because it is required, then what can we do? Reduce the impact of the pollution to the maximum possible level by bringing in the best technology. And today, when you go to the port, you can see our port is one of the major ports in the country which has state-of-the-art kind of a piped conveyor belts, the automatic silo loading, everything, entire technology to reduce the coal pollution to the barest possible, thing. That is.
So the NPT plans to reduce the coal handling or something? Is there any plans or to increase?
Again, what is the port's role in the... We are at the center of the logistics chain, the trade. What the country requires will be imported, what the country is producing will be, which is required by other countries will be exported. Actually, the port has no say on reduce karna hai, nahi karna hai. It is the country's requirement. I would like to personally export jasmine flowers, but then, but then it may not be kind of possible because I don't decide, Deputy Chairman, none of us decide what is to be exported and imported. It is the trade which decides. We as a port have to facilitate that export-import process. If all of us, if we together decide we need only 6 hours of power supply in our house, I think we can all decide and then we can otherwise we consciously try to improve our renewable energy sources. Like we are coming up with a 3 megawatt solar power plant, which will be the single largest power plant in the state. With that commissioning of that, we will be a green port. We'll be 100% green port, contributing more than what we are consuming today to the grid. So such steps we can take, but we have no say on the cargo, what to export and what not to.
And sir, another thing about the green port, have you set certain time limit to be 100% or something? Have you set any time, if any? So how much percentage has been completed on the green port initiative?
Okay. See, green port, when we say it is there in your presentation, we must be the Vasco Bay project has probably, you may be knowing, it has a long history, but it got stuck. The port had initially got the approval from the EC, but then we could not go ahead because I think the state of Goa had not completed its CZMP plan up to 2011. So that got expired, the EC approval got expired. And we tried to get it renewed, then EC, the Environment Ministry also informed us that there is no kind of clause to extend the approval. So we had to again go, afresh we had to apply. They have given a long kind of list of terms of reference. We have already appointed a consultant. The consultant has been, I think he will complete the studies within 5-6 months time. So we will be ready to submit the entire thing back to the Ministry of Environment maybe in another 6 months' time. Then the approval from the EC, and most importantly where it will get stuck is the availability of the project land, where already the government of Goa and the Mormugao port has already signed along with the Fishermen's Association. There is already a signed MOU whereby some 35 to 40 I think households have been identified in the project, that footprint area. So ultimately it will come to the rehabilitation of those, then the project will kind of be a reality. So we are going ahead, and we had discussions with Government of Goa. Defence Ministry is very keen to have this Coast Guard and Navy jetty on time. So they have been pushing us. They have been also in discussion with Government of Goa. So I think towards the end of this year we'll get some kind of an idea about it. So we would have submitted the approval to the Environment Ministry. Maybe within 6 months we'll be able to submit it. So then, would you like to add something?
Yes, sir.
Containers, even if we presently use the entire business, that 50 million ton we achieved in the past was, I think, as you have seen, 60-70% was iron ore only. So we are keenly looking at the Goan iron ore. That is if you look at the port's history also, it has always been an iron ore, Goan iron ore dependent port. The rest of the kind of cargo has always been a supplementary, supporting kind of a thing. So if we want to reach the 50 million ton, I think the Goan iron ore also should start moving. Or in another way, if the doubling of the railway line to North Karnataka is completed, then we will still have more cargo from North Karnataka side. So that we are having a bottleneck there. The cargo is not the problem. There is enough cargo. Basically it's the connectivity and the port infrastructure which has to match the kind of potential.
When Government of India is developing MOPA airport as a cargo hub and logistic hub, how do you look at it?
It is never a challenge to a seaport because the objectives are kind of different. So I don't think it will have any long-term impact. It cannot be compared to a seaport, the kind of volumes which is today moving through the seas. The shipping, it almost controls 90-95% of the cargo movement. The other part is very, very less. So it will not have an impact, isn't it?
Yeah, I think MOPA,
Which has done a baseline emission study. So today we are aware of that we are emitting, our carbon footprint is around 32,400 tons or something per year, isn't it?
Yes.
Per year. So how can we reduce it? It has scope 1, scope 2, scope 3. Scope 1 is the direct emission by the port. This is totally under our control, so that we are definitely achieving it, I think within 1 or 2 years. Definitely before 2027, 28, because it's basically the harbor mobile cranes, etc. we use. So the HMCs which we are going to get installed through the PPP operator, it's a hybrid kind of a mobile crane. So they need not use diesel, they can use electricity. And because we will be contributing more through the solar power, so that will get a kind of balance. Then we have the scope 2. Scope 2 is the electricity which we use. So by the solar power plant, that will have further reduction in the carbon footprint there. Scope 3 is our stakeholders, the trucks moving into our. So there, as we have shown in the presentation, the World Bank has selected us one among the 3 ports, along with Mumbai, Paradip and Paradip ports. We are one of the 3 ports selected by the World Bank under the project greening of ports. So they have already, come and discuss with all the stakeholders, including the truck operators, everybody who is doing business with the port. How can we further reduce the carbon emissions? So it's a long journey. Some of the targets we have achieved already, like the green cover, 33% of that target is of 2030. We are already there. So it's a long journey, as all of you know. but slowly we will achieve it.
So my last question is the tourism being the main.
It's both. As I was telling somebody, the future of the port depends on the doubling of the railway line. That is one key thing. And second is the capital dredging. Today we have a draft of around 14.5 meter in the port. We need to enhance it to almost 18.5, 19 meter. Because today the large vessels, that is cape size vessels, have to unload some cargo before coming into our port. Because our port doesn't have that draft required for cape size vessels. So if we, the one major requirement in future is the capital dredging, facilitating the cape size vessels to come into the port, and the doubling of the railway line, allowing the cargo evacuation. Because we have a very small port, our storage facilities are also not that high. So the cargo evacuation is also of utmost importance. So if the capital dredging, as we have shown in the presentation, you will find it in your copy, hard copy. So would require around 350-400 crore minimum, which we'll have to invest, and that will definitely take care of the future. That is a major infrastructure we are looking into for the future. But immediately the HMCs will help us to get back the container business which we were doing earlier. And as you all know, the Goa is a pharma, kind of a hub. The potential is 13% of the all India export is happening from Goa. That's a major kind of a business which we can look at. But then we need to kind of give them all the facilities which today the Jawaharlal Nehru Port is offering. But the advantage is they can avoid the road transport, reduce their carbon emissions. That is why most of them are really important. Important about that they are looking forward to this HMCs in port, because they can reduce the carbon footprint in the entire logistics chain. By going from here by ship, it will reduce their carbon footprint tremendously.
Good afternoon, sir. I just wanted to
Handled very large cruise vessels in the past. Even last year, 3-4 days, we had 3 cruise vessels on the same day. Then your second question, international cruise vessels are already coming to the port. And from 6th of March, we have another, what is the?
Resort World.
Resort World, which is operating from Singapore. They are coming into India for a Mumbai-Goa kind of a thing. So they will have 13 calls during this season. Your question about the increasing the number of cruise calls, the ministry has actually formed a Cruise Bharat mission, because it is not only one port trying to kind of bring in, it has to be a big initiative. So there is also already a Cruise Bharat mission which is under the Ministry of Port Shipping and Waterways. So they are looking at various initiatives, some related to taxation, because the international operators, cruise lines coming into Goa, India, they'll have some concerns related to taxation, the way the business, because our rules say that they have to get registered in India as a company and all. So these are issues of national nature which are getting attended from our ministry. So, but Goa, as you know, is a popular destination which everybody is looking forward to.
सर क्रूज टर्मिनल का काम कहाँ तक पहुँचा है? जो है क्रूज टर्मिनल का काम जो इनॉग्रेशन होने वाला ना, कब तक हो जाएगा?
No, inauguration actually we are, there are 2 stages to it. One is the completion of the structure. So our expectation is that by May, June the structure will be completed. Once the structure is completed, then we have already, kind of identified the vendor who will do the internal kind of counter preparation for the immigration, all the internal work, facilitating the internal. That is as per the tender, 3-4 months would be required to. So we are expecting that it would be ready by the beginning of the next season, that is August and September of this year. We expect that it will be operational.
Sir, I had one question about,
because MOPA most probably it will handle the high value and less bulky items. So, but we would continue to handle the cargo which are supposed to come through vessels. And as regards the container, we already had an interaction with the trade recently, and trade also has positively responded, and including the pharma wanted us to commence the container operations. I think once the crane comes, I think we would be able to handle containers. I think it will definitely surpass, maybe not first year, or at least within 2 to 3 years, I think we would surpass that whatever container numbers we had handled, maybe about 40,000 handled a year.
Berth number 1, where the cruise vessels are berthed. Berth number 2, international domestic cruise terminal is there, upcoming. Berth number 3, for domestic cruise vessels. Berth number 4, again for the cruise vessels. 5 and 6 are operated by the SWPL. Berth number 7, Adani. Berth number 8 is a liquid cargo berth. Berth number 9 is under redevelopment for handling general cargo. And then we have these barge jetties, import and export coal, limestone, liquid ammonia, fuel products. On the export side, we have iron ore, steel coils, molasses, CR.
लाइव कैन चालू करतो ना प्रेजेंटेशन असा करतो प्रेजेंटेशन जाऊन ना
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Sandeep Bamburkar from the technical cell of 160 crores construction of dome, covered dome for this stacking of coal at SWPL.
Of this thing. Then there are pollution, and then they blame railway.
That is good. That is good. It should be good one.
It should be totally covered, no?
बहुत कम परसेंटेज फार्मा का
We have to focus on container, you are right, sir. I think to first point. We have to focus on container, that's the future thing, it's a clean thing. And we can expand the hinterland towards Karnataka. So what sir was saying is 38 is we can achieve, but that's the beginning, we can go beyond that.
High value cargo which goes through air will take the route of I think Mopa airport, but it is never a challenge for the seaport. Seaport cargo is completely different from the air cargo.
So I wanted to ask.
we had done the public hearing, everything had been completed earlier. But because of the expiry of this approval granted, then we have this problem of starting it all over again.
फाउंडेशन स्टोरी करते हैं फाउंडेशन स्टोरी करते हैं
In MPA and everything, how are you dealing with this fear and
Again, a good question. So we have monetized land to some extent, but if you ask, have we been able to monetize large kind of parcels? Not yet. But all of us, we had recently we were looking at the reasons why people are not interested to take a parcel in this part of the area. If our scale of rates, if that is a reason, we are having a relook at the scale of rates of the port, whether it is at market rate to attract more people. So we are having a relook at the scale of rates of the port, and probably the way we tender. Normally our tender process, people don't notice the tenders which we put on the website or something. So we are looking at both these options, and that is one of the top priorities of this year, which we have identified is monetization of land. So this we are at it.
सर अभी सर प्रेजेंटेशन में हमने टूरिज्म के बहुत सारे प्रोजेक्ट देखे जो आने वाले हैं, लेकिन आपको लगता है कि एक तरफ से कोल है और टूरिज्म, ये दोनों पैरेलल चल सकते हैं?
Yeah, definitely. See, if you, I think you are going into the port, so you will, I understand that when you are standing at the cruise terminal, you will not notice anything related to the cold, unless that is in your mind. So you will not be able to, physically you will not be able to kind of, many ports are handling it at that way. It is, so some places they'll cover up in a beautiful way, where coal handling is. But it has not affected, the handling of the coal has not affected our kind of cruise visits in any way.
ओके, और सर दूसरा सवाल ये है कि यहाँ के लोकल लोग हैं, वास्को के लोकल लोग हैं, वो लोग सोशल मीडिया पे हम लोगों ने देखा बहुत से वीडियो.
No, again the question is the same thing. So we had done a study under the IIT Mumbai of the dust pollution and air pollution in this area. I'm not saying that the coal will not pollute, but even in the study it was came out that it is mostly it is the road dust and the biofuel, the biomass burning, which is contributing to the pollution than the port pollution. So obviously I'm not saying that port is not polluting, but port is not the major polluter. That is the study which was done on the insistence of the Goa Pollution Board, also showed that the road dust and this biomass burning are the major sources of pollution.
So what all measures MPA has taken to control this dust pollution or?
Yeah, I think most of it will, when you go down to the port, you will see that we have all these systems, the mist cannons and all the dust suppression systems. Why we have invested 4 crore on a project, a pipeline project, is with the SIDCGL is we are bringing that much water, the treated water into the port, the 100% for the dust suppression things. Then you today I think the silo loading, probably they may not be able to see today the silo loading, but the way the coal is handled and it is conveyed to the conveyor belt and it is loaded, you will see that there is very less chance of kind of polluting. Whether the finer dust will come up, again Adani, when you go to Adani today, they will explain, they are also coming up with some kind of measures whereby they will put a filament over the coal stack. There is some chemical which can be mixed with water, and if it is sprayed, it will form a kind of a small cover over the stacks of coal. So all these measures are being taken, and you will, I think you will be able to see and appreciate what are the measures which we are taking to reduce the pollution. And as you have seen from the presentation, and if you look at that ambient air quality readings, you will see that it is much less than what is permitted.
So also dome is also coming.
Yeah, the JSW, that is SWPL, they are coming out with a dome which you will see now when you go. They have already invested around 160 crore, and the dome structure is complete. It will be the structure will be completed by the end of February. So that dome is already in place. And Adani is also taking other, depending on the latest technologies, they are also putting some measures in place to kind of reduce it.
Sir,
in fact, I don't know what is the issue, because they have not spoken to us, so they have not discussed with us. The project was inaugurated, and we have also not started using the kind of the road tail. Maybe we will start using it in a couple of days, because we are also doing a trial run. Basically, I don't know what is the controversy. I think if it is about the gate which we have put, it's an entry point to the port. All the entry points to the port will have to be secured. So we are an ISPS compliant port, where we follow the international guidelines to secure so all the entry points, if there are anything through which people can enter, there will be a gate. And the gate has 2 functions, it can be either closed or open. It is open today. So I don't know what is the controversy. We have not stopped anybody kind of in using the road.
वो गेट रह के भी पब्लिक को छोड़ा जाएगा सर या उनको बंदी रहेगी, क्या इशू है?
See, it is not the public. What we have to understand is that project is a port connectivity project. The transportation is towards the kind of port. There is a down ramp, there is an up ramp for the cargo movement to our Baina warehouse. If you have seen our Baina storage area, so whether people can go, that can be decided by the government of Goa through a proper kind of a traffic. Our concern is there are two concerns. One is related to port security. I think the CISF is also here. Any entry point to the port will have to have a gate. Because in times of emergency or in law, we'll have to close it. But then it will not be closed on a kind of a daily basis. How the traffic has to move, that the government of Goa has to kind of tell us how the traffic should move, where will the traffic police be. And if you have seen the down ramp, up ramp and the Vasco ramp, you will also understand that there are chances of accident. We don't want kind of anybody to get involved in an accident, or that accident should not interrupt our movement of traffic into the port. So we have not said, we have not controlled the access to any part of the road. And the up ramp is a totally, it is not a part of the NHAI project. It's a project of the port to take the cargo outside. So I don't really understand the controversy because nobody has kind of discussed this with us. We have only seen reports in the newspaper. We normally don't respond to anything coming in the newspaper because so many things come in the newspaper. If we have something, then we will call you like this and we will discuss with you. So from our side, there is nothing, no controversy. So now the session is open for all of you to ask any question from your side. From my side, I would only like to say that as you have seen in the presentation, we are the smallest major port in the country, but our impact has been especially in sustainable development. We are one of the ports, leading ports, launching new schemes, especially earth-friendly schemes. So that we have been doing consistently, and you will be able to see when you visit the port that the kind of measures we are taking to reduce the pollution to the lowest possible levels. And we are constantly looking at what we can do further to even reduce it to the barest minimum. So it's open to you friends, so whatever question you would like to ask.
Sir, as connectivity has been, अभी कनेक्टिविटी बहुत अच्छा हुआ है, तो आप कुछ नए कार्गोस की तरफ आगे मीन्स लाने की कोशिश करेंगे?
Yeah, thank you. That's a very good question because the connectivity, one is a majority, 95-97% of our cargo is presently going through the rail. We are using the rakes for the transportation. A very small percentage of the cargo moves through the road. So, but because of the 4-lane, the port connectivity which has come, this will definitely kind of enhance our chances of getting more cargo from entire hinterland, not only Goa, North Karnataka and maybe southern Maharashtra. That is why we had constituted a business promotion council in the month of October, involving the Karnataka Chamber of Commerce, then Goa Chamber of Commerce, all the trade bodies, to let them know about the improvement in the connectivity and what all we are doing to improve the business. And as you have already seen, we are going to get 2 HMCs installed by the end of February, and so we are hopeful that we'll be able to start the handling of containers from at least a March end or April beginning. We are already in kind of discussing with the cruise lines, the trade bodies, the pharma sector to kind of get more and more containers. So there is a kind of scope of improving the business.
Supplementary to that, which are the commodities you are